I gotta fix my.
Good evening. This 23rd meeting of the 73rd term of Baltimore City Council is now called to order. Members of the council, due to us having to run this meeting virtually, of course, because of COVID, please note that I will recognize you saying your name, saying that you have the floor. Once I recognize you, please state your name and begin to speak. Today's invocation will be led by Reverend Pamela Yearby Hammett. Please bow our heads and listen to the prayer.
Let us pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come to handle the business that you have for the Baltimore City. We ask for your wisdom for our city officials. We pray for your grace and your mercy to pour out in abundance over every family. We pray that your purposes and your plans might be fulfilled, and that there might be peace and joy for all our residents. Keep us safe by day and by night. We ask all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you, Reverend Yearby Hammett. At this point, we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please go on mute. Mute. There we go. Thank you. Next, for our showcase, we will have, again, Reverend Yearby Hammett come back. She's going to speak about some of the important work she does in mental health and suicide prevention. Reverend Yearby Hammett is on the legislative work group led by Chairwoman McCray to go after and look at legislative fixes, not only in the city, but state as well as federal government, that we want to highlight. As you guys know, mental illness is a serious issue in our communities, and it's been further exacerbated with the concerns around COVID-19. Our seniors being shuttered in, our children having virtual school and missing the social emotional concept of school, our parents who are working and stressed out about their parents and their children. So it's very cyclical. We've seen a twofold increase of suicides amongst African Americans statewide during the peak of last year's COVID peak. We want to, again, try to develop any preventative measures of getting the information out to our community. So we established that work group, really excited about the work that Reverend Yearby Hammett has done in the city of Baltimore. And at this time, we wanted to give her an opportunity to kind of communicate her amazing work to us. Reverend, you're on mute. Reverend, you're on mute, Reverend. Matt, can we unmute her? Reverend Yearby, you're on mute. It's right at the bottom.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Bouncing. So maybe you have two devices that are logged on at the same time. We're going to give it like another 30 seconds. If we do not have Reverend Yearby Hammett, we'll invite her to come towards maybe the end of the meeting.
Okay, is this better?
That's a lot better.
Okay, great. I am so sorry. I want to thank you so much, President Mosby, for allowing me to come and to share with the Baltimore City Council. I am excited to be a part of the suicide prevention work group. And my work with mental illness or mental health advocacy began in 2013 after my own personal bout with mental illness. In 2012, I was diagnosed with depression and with anxiety. And as a result of that, I believe that it was my purpose in life to share my own personal journey. And because I am a pastor and because I was very active in the church, I also thought that I should start there. It was what I was familiar with, and so as a result of that, I've gone throughout several churches, Christian retreats, leaders groups, and I've shared my story, and I have asked pastors to please be a voice for their congregation and to become educated and to help people within their congregation who may deal with mental illness. I did not realize that there were so many people in the church that needed this story to be told. We were often told that mental illness was due to not praying enough, not having enough faith, and then sometimes as extreme as being demons. But my advocacy and my work is to help lead people to the professionals that can get the help that they need. It has helped me. As a result, I've written a book. I have a course that I developed, and I'm really excited to do my part to help in Baltimore City.
Thank you, Reverend Yerby Hammock. What's the title of your book?
My book is Flying with One Wing, God's Grace in Our Times of Adversity.
Well, thank you so much, Reverend. Thank you for your service to the citizens of Baltimore, and we truly appreciate you accepting the responsibility of serving on our first ever legislative work group.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the clerk can call the roll.
President Mosby, Councilman Cohen, Councilwoman McCray, Councilman Dorsey, Councilman Conway, Councilman Schleifer, Vice President Middleton, Councilman Torrance, Councilman Burnett, Councilman Bullock, Councilwoman Porter, Councilman Costello, Councilman Stokes, Councilman Glover, Councilwoman Ramos. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will now proceed to the adoption of the journal. Just as a quick note, remember we had the snafu in January the 11th with the WebEx outage, so we had to continue the meeting on January the 13th. The journal will cover both meetings, the originally set meeting and the continuation from January the 13th.
Mr. President, the journal of the January 11, 2021 proceedings are on the council member's desk.
Without objection, the journal will be adopted. Hearing none and seeing none, the journal is adopted. Messages from the mayor can be found in the meeting agenda. We turn now to executive nominations.
EA 21-0006, Regina T. Boyce, Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0007, Erica Angela Bridgeford, Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0008, Donna Bruce, Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0009, Stephen J. Zen, Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0010, Kevin Daniels, Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0011, Elijah Davis Jr., Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0012, Desiree Dixon, Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0013, Chera N. Doty, Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0014, Panagis Galiadaksos. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0015, Lindsay R. Gavin. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0016, Monica Guerrero Vasquez. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0017, Liddell Hills. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0018, Mark E. Jews. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0019, Brendan M. McFadden. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0020, Tamar Mendelson. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0021, Jayla Morris Young Elder. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0022, Shauna Murray Brown. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0023, Nika Namdi. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0024, Destiny Philpott. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0025, Colby Sangri. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0026, James L. Shea, City Solicitor, Law Department.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0027, Anaya Taylor. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0028, Farhia Wahid. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee.
EA 21-0029, Corey Witherspoon. Member, Trauma-Informed Care Task Force.
This has been assigned to the Rules and Oversight Committee. We will now move to bills being introduced.
City Council Bill 21-0023, Urban Renewal Middle East Amendment. For the purpose of amending the Urban Renewal Plan for Middle East to modify certain land uses allowed in the plan, to correct, clarify, and conform certain provisions and references to the plan to those in the current Baltimore City zoning code, to replace Appendix B with new Appendix B, to delete Appendix E in its entirety, and to remove certain properties from the list in Appendices A, C, and D, and to remove certain other properties located within the renewal area, to replace the exhibits and the new exhibits to reflect the changes in the plan, and to modify the boundaries of the plan to reflect the removal of certain properties, as shown on the new exhibits, waiving certain content and procedural requirements, making the provisions of this ordinance severable, providing for the application of this ordinance in conjunction with certain other ordinances, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor Glover.
The bill sponsor, would you like to add anything, or you're okay with moving on?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, thank you. This bill has been assigned to Economic and Community Development Committee, now 21-0024.
City Council Bill 21-0024, Minority and Women's Business Utilization Emergencies. For the purpose of clarifying the city's minority business and women's business contract utilization requirements for certain emergency procurements, requiring that, and after an emergency procurement, the agency submit a report to the Board of Estimates and the Minority and Women's Business Opportunity Office, providing for a special effective date, and generally relating to greater transparency and utilization of minority and women's business in the city emergency contracting. Sponsors: Burnett, Cohen, Dorsey, Middleton, Bullock, Torrance.
Councilman Burnett, we'll make sure you.
Yep, thank you, Mr. President. This is a reintroduction of a bill that is trying to close a loophole that exists whenever we have a state of emergency declared. And so we heard this last term, but essentially what this does is continues to require agencies to utilize, or at least attempt to utilize, minority and women-owned businesses during the state of emergency and when undergoing emergency procurement. Thank you to the co-sponsors and look forward to a hearing to try and move this forward. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you, Councilman. At this point, are there any questions or concerns? Hearing none, this bill has been assigned to Public Safety Government Oversight Committee. Sorry, Public Safety and Government Operations. Moving on to 21-0025.
City Council Bill 21-0025, rezoning. 2200, 2205, 2220, 2300, 2301, 2310, 2330, 2400, and 2500, Roning Highway and Block 6916, Lot 015. For the purpose of changing the zoning for the properties known as 2200, Block 6916, Lot 003, 220, Block 0916, Lot 004, 2300, Block 6916, Lot 005, 2310, Block 6916, Lot 007, 2330, Block 6916, Lot 010A and 009, 2400, Block 6916, Lot 0011, and 2500, Block 6916, Lot 013, Roning Highway and Block 0916, Lot 015, as outlined in red on the accompanying plat, from the OIC zoning district to MI zoning district, and changing the zoning for the properties known as 2205, Block 6915, Lot 001, 2301, Block 6915, Lot 006, and 2501, Block 6915, Lot 009A, Roning Highway, as outlined in blue on the accompanying plat, from the I2 zoning district to the MI zoning district. Sponsor Cohen.
This bill has been assigned to the Economic Community Development Committee.
City Council Bill 21-0026, rezoning, 120 South Caton Avenue. For the purpose of changing the zoning for the property known as 1201 South Caton Avenue, Block 2108C, Lot 002, as outlined in red on the accompanying plat, from the EC1 zoning district to the I1 zoning district, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsor Porter.
This bill has been assigned to Economic Community Development Committee.
City Council Bill 21-0027, RPP Area 9, Federal Hill, exceptions for 1 East Montgomery Street, for the purpose of amending the parking management plan for RPP Area 9 to add an exception to the plan's general permit allotments for dwelling units. Sponsor Costello.
This bill has been assigned to the Economic Community Development Committee.
City Council Bill 21-0028, landmark list, Clifton School, for the purpose of designating the Clifton School, 2670 Kennedy Avenue, as an historic landmark exterior. Sponsor Ramos.
This bill has been assigned to Education Work.
Mr. President, may I speak on the bill?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Mr. President and colleagues, I'm excited to have this amazing building in our district be designated as a landmark. To be clear, given the questions that we got earlier in the day, this is Clifton Elementary School, Old Clifton Elementary School. It doesn't have anything to do with the Lake Clifton High School, which has already been, the council before us passed legislation to agree to sell those buildings. So just to be clear on that, this building is in the middle of Gorsuch Avenue and Kennedy. It's a beautiful building that we want to keep the integrity of, and also it will be an anchor for revitalization in the area. Thanks very much, Mr. President.
No, thank you. As discussed, this bill will be assigned to the Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee. Moving on to 21-0029.
City Council Bill 21-0029, commercial parking facilities, annual license fee, for the purpose of modifying the annual licensing fee for commercial parking facilities within the City of Baltimore, and how the fee is calculated, beginning on a certain date, providing for the annual adjustment of the licensing fee for inflation as measured by the Consumer Price Index, and conforming related provisions. Sponsors Dorsey, Burnett, Cohen, and Bullock.
This bill has been assigned to Ways and Means Committee.
City Council Bill
Mr.
21.
President.
I'm sorry, Councilman Dorsey, you'd like to speak when you're done?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes.
This is a bill that is reintroduced from last term. It is not only, as the bill title explains, it's not only an increase to the fee that exists, which has not been steadily increased over the 80 years that it has been a law, but it's also an indexing to inflation once we get to a phased-in higher rate on a schedule that is into the bill. This is a fee that is associated with the annual license for parking, for commercial parking facilities. And if phased in as this bill plans, it will increase city revenues by about $5 million annually. So appreciate everybody's support for this. Thank you.
No, thank you to you, Councilman Dorsey. This bill has been assigned to Ways and Means.
City Council Bill 21-003, coordinated multi-agency code inspections for the purpose of requiring that the city administrator coordinate a multi-agency code inspection after a commercial property has been issued certain environmental citations, requiring that the city administrator and the Department of Housing and Community Development receive a copy of all environmental citations issued, specifying which agencies must be included in the multi-agency inspection team, requiring that the city administrator provide certain information to council members, requiring that the city administrator submit an annual report detailing the work of the multi-agency inspection team, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsors Burnett, Cohen, Dorsey, Porter, Middleton, Bullock, Ramos, Torrance.
Councilman Burnett, would you like to speak on this bill?
Thank you, Mr. President. And this is in response to a lot of concerns that have been raised by my constituents on corner stores and very recently, even before the fire, the Edmonton Village Shopping Center, about a need for an elevated response from the city to clean up these centers, these commercial spaces that have been a blight on many of the communities. And so direct reflection of communication with my constituents. I know all of us have had these exact same issues come up in all of our districts, so I look forward to a discussion on this to try and move this forward. Thank you, Mr. President.
No, thank you. This bill has been assigned to Public Safety and Government Operations Committee.
Can I be added as a co-sponsor, please?
Please allow the record to reflect that Councilman Schleifer would like to be added. Are there any other additional co-sponsors at the moment? Thank you. Moving on to 21-0031.
City Council Bill 21-0031, landlord-tenant lease renewals, for the purpose of requiring, absent certain good cause circumstances, landlords to offer tenants a reasonable opportunity to renew leases, providing for the manner of notice for which a landlord must send renewal notices or decline to renew notices, establishing a presumptive of offer and acceptance, absent certain circumstances, providing for the effect of the subtitle, providing for certain administrative and criminal penalties, and providing for a special effective date. Sponsors Glover, City Council President Mosby, Vice President Middleton, Ramos, Stokes, Bullock.
Councilman Glover, would you like to speak on behalf of this bill?
Yeah, I'll just speak on behalf of it again. Again, this bill would do this. It would allow landlords their opportunity to renew their lease to show just cause why they should not be, removed from the property. During this pandemic, I witnessed it just recently where an individual, mom had given me a call because of the fact that her kid was set out the home. Kid had mental health issues as well, but was set out the home because the landlord did not renew his lease due to the fact that, this young man had missed like one payment of rent. This guy is now on the streets of Baltimore City. I reached out to several homeless shelters to try to get him sheltered, but in this bill right here, it kind of closed that loophole where a landlord cannot just put an individual, out on the street during this pandemic. But this bill does not prevent landlords from evicting existing tenants who violate their terms in the lease. Neighbors, because landlords will also have the ability to address complaints or concerns raised by the fellow tenants, and it just regulates the eviction process. So what we're doing is we're trying to keep residents in their homes, during these crises, and I hope that we can move this bill forward, and that I can get my fellow colleagues on the council to support this very, very important bill.
Thank you, Councilman Glover. Are there any additional co-sponsors? Hearing and seeing none, this bill has been assigned to Economic and Community Development Committee. Now we're going to move on to resolutions that will be introduced. The clerk, please read the resolutions for tonight.
Resolution 21-0010R, informational hearing, getting on the same page, clarifying 311 Services approach to resolving requests. For the purpose of inviting representatives from 311 Services, the Department of Public Works, the Department of Transportation, the Department of Housing and Community Development, and the Department of Recreation and Parks, and the Office of the City Administrator, the Baltimore Development Corporation, BGE, and the Mayor's Office of Performance and Innovation to appear before the City Council to discuss how to improve the status classifications within the 311 to make them better, understandably more transparent, and more reliable for the citizens of Baltimore. Sponsors: Middleton, Porter, Burnett, Bullock, Ramos, Torrance.
This resolution has been assigned to the Health, Environment, and Technology Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Madam Vice President, Sharon Green Middleton, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. Last term, a former colleague did put in a resolution because we were having problems with the language closed means closed for when a resident reports something to 311, and that issue still has not been resolved. In fact, I feel that it's gotten worse. So I'm kind of restructured the resolution and just bringing all of those entities together in hopes that the informational hearing can start a healthy conversation where we can change this language. I feel we need to take away that closed means, closed. When there are issues involving trash or homes, the process has to go through several agencies. It has to start with a work order, and another agency cannot do their part until they get the work order from another agency. And this applies to a number of issues, and it just takes up too much time. So, this whole process is just trying to bring all these agencies here. Again, it's about communication with us, communicating correctly with the resident that puts in the complaint, and also agency to agency. And I just think that, it's time we really start putting good language together so we as council people don't have to constantly spend time in justifying what a closed ticket means. That's not part of our responsibility. So thank you for those that have signed on, and are looking forward to a good dialogue with this bill.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Councilman Conway, do I hear you? You're about to say something? No. All right. This resolution has been assigned to the Health, Environment, and Technology Committee. On to 21-0011R.
Resolution 21-0011R, informational hearing, financial literacy curriculum context within the Baltimore City Public School System. For the purpose of inviting the Chief Executive Officer of the Baltimore City Public School System, the commissioners from the Board of School Commissioners for the Baltimore City Public School System, the Director of the Mayor's Office of Employment Development, and the Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success to appear before the City Council to discuss how we can develop curriculum content for a course in financial literacy, require the curriculum content include instruction in choosing a career, earning an income, saving and investing money, credit, and budgeting, and require students to complete a course in financial literacy in order to graduate from high school in Baltimore City Public Schools. Sponsors Middleton, McCray, Burnett, Bullock.
Madam Vice President, would you like to speak on this resolution?
Yes, Mr. President. So during the 19th century, a man named Horace Mann, which was a pioneer of American public school, famously called education the great equalizer. So I am introducing this resolution so that we can start to equalize the playing field for our students by initiating the conversation about developing and implementing into the Baltimore Public School System curriculum courses that teach the importance of financial literacy. When I was a teacher in fact, my very first career, I taught a subject called independent living, which included things like how to apply and get a savings account, how to get a checking account, tips on buying your first car. I mean, we could go on and on. Just basic life skills that a high school student should have when they graduate from high school. Even going on to college, there's certain things that you should do and should not do. So as we continue to work to build equity and into every system and process within city government, advocating for this change is critical to the long-term health of our city. I would appreciate my colleagues' support and look forward to a thoughtful dialogue on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. This resolution has been assigned to Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee on to 21-0012.
Mr. President.
I'm sorry, is that Chairman Conway?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to be acknowledged as a sponsor on Bill 21-0010R.
So 10, just so.
Yes.
So we're talking about the informational hearing on getting on the same page, clarifying the 311 services. Yeah. If we could let the record reflect that Chairman Conway would like to give the sponsor on 21-0010R. Thank you. Moving on to 21-0012R.
Resolution 21-0012R, investigative hearing, safe return to in-person schooling. For the purpose of inviting the CEO of Baltimore City Public School System to provide the City Council with an update regarding safety precautions the school system is taking for the return of students in-person schooling and inviting representatives from the Baltimore City Fire Department, Health Department, and Department of Housing and Community Development to comment on the adequacy of these safety precautions. Sponsors Stokes, McCray, Middleton, Burnett, Bullock, Ramos, Torrance.
Chairman Stokes, would you like to speak on this bill?
Yes, thank you, Mr.
Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. We all, the council, have been receiving emails from our parents and teachers about the in-person schooling and the teachers feeling they're not ready, the school system not ready for the teachers to come back because they feel like they have not been vaccinated. And because of what the COVID is doing in some of the schools, some of our persons that work in the school system had actually had COVID already. So the idea of this hearing is to give the teachers a platform so we can hear their concerns about returning to in-person schooling. So thank everybody for their support on this, but again, we have to have this dialogue so we can let the teachers know that we support them wholeheartedly about their cautions about going back into schools. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Chairman Conway with his hand raised. Chairman Conway, would you like to be added on as a co-sponsor? Yes. Councilman Glover, are you going to be added on as a co-sponsor?
Yes.
Yes. Councilman Zeke, co-sponsor?
Yep.
Okay, so if we could please let the record to reflect to add on Councilman Glover, Chairman Conway, and Councilman Cohen to this bill. The resolution has been assigned to Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee. Now moving on to 21-0013R.
Resolution 21-0013R, approval for the exchange of Class B7 license to a Class A7 license, 1220 West North Avenue, for the purpose of providing the required approval under Maryland Annotated Code Alcohol Beverage Section 12-9021D1 to allow the license holder holding a valid Class B7 beer, wine, and liquor license issued for the use at 1220 West North Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21217 to apply to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City to exchange their Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license for a Class A7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Sponsor, Torrance.
Seeing no additional co-sponsors, this resolution has been assigned to Economic and Community Development Committee. I cannot allow that opportunity to pass. We just saw one of our young scholars, I believe a future doctor, maybe, I don't know, maybe a track star. We saw your son, Councilman John Bullock. Moving on to 21-0014R.
Resolution 21-0014R, approval for the exchange of a Class BD7 license to a Class A7 license, 2733 Pennsylvania Avenue, for the purpose of providing the required approval under Maryland Annotated Code Alcoholic Beverage Section 12-902.1D1 to allow the license holder holding a valid Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license issued for use at 2733 Pennsylvania Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21217 to apply to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City to exchange their Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license for a Class A7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Sponsor, Torrance.
This resolution has been assigned to the Economic and Community Development Committee. Moving on to 21-0015R.
Resolution 21-0015R, approval for the exchange of a Class B7 license to a Class A7 license, 2139 Pennsylvania Avenue, for the purpose of providing the required approval under Maryland Annotated Code Alcoholic Beverage Section 12-902.1D1 to allow the license holder holding a valid Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license issued for use at 2139 Pennsylvania Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21217 to apply to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City to exchange their Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license for a Class A7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Sponsor, Torrance.
This resolution has been assigned to the Economic and Community Development Committee. You can find the consent. We're going to move on to consent calendar. You can find it. I'm sorry.
I was going to add context after the.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead to the resolution sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. President. These bills are being sponsored based off of Senate Bill 69, which was passed in the General Assembly last session. It is a part of a violence reduction plan where the owners agreed to reduce their hours from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. to 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. They agreed to add additional high-definition cameras, external and internal, maintain those actual cameras for 14 days, and provide the footage to DPD. This is a part of a task force and community outreach along the North Avenue corridor and around Pennsylvania Avenue. I just want to make sure that the public knows.
No, thank you, Councilman Torrance. Just also let the record reflect that I think this is also bringing the current store operations into conformity with the license that is consistent with the current operations, so moving from BD7 down to A7. Again, this resolution has been assigned to the Economic and Community Development Committee. You can find the consent calendar in Section A at the back of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved by Councilman Stokes.
All right, it's been properly moved, but I have not heard a second.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Chairman Stokes and properly seconded by Vice President Sharon Green Middleton. All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. The motion carries and the calendar is approved. We'll now move to bills on second reader. Ways and Means. I would like to recognize the Chairman of Ways and Means, Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the clerk's going to read the bill.
Yeah, well, actually, I thought you were going to ask for short titles for the remainder of the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot it's that point in the term. Mr. President, I move that we read short titles for second and third reader for the duration of the meeting.
Thank you. I wish we could have done it for first reader. Do I have a second?
Second, Bullock.
Okay, so I have it properly moved by Chairman Costello and second by Councilman Bullock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The motion carries. To the clerk, the short title.
City Council Bill 21-007, COVID-19 Restaurant, Consumer, and Gig Worker Relief Act, temporary limit on third-party delivery service fees.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would like to recognize the bill sponsor, Chairman Costello.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee held a hearing on this bill last week. At this time, I move the bill favorably.
Any questions, concerns, or debate? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor of approving this bill say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The motion is approved and the bill is moved to third reader. I would like to recognize Chairman Costello again.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend Rule 12-1B to advance the bill from second to third reader on the same day.
Is there any objection of suspending council rules? Just for the purpose of consistency, I'll follow up with the actual rules, but let's just take a quick vote on that just to make sure of that. I think if you could properly move it and someone second, and then we'll go from there. Just suspend the rules.
Second.
Thank you, Mr.
So I think I heard Chairman Costello, the motion, and I believe that was Vice President Sharon Green Middleton. Oh, that was Dorsey. That was Councilman Dorsey with the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, you guys are screaming it out now. All those opposed, please say nay. All right, the ayes have it. We're going to go to roll call.
President Mosby, Councilman Cohen, Councilwoman McCray, Councilman Cohen,
Aye.
Councilwoman McCray. Yes. Councilman Dorsey,
Yes.
Councilman Conway,
Aye.
Councilman Schleifer,
Yes.
Vice President Middleton,
Yes.
Councilman Torrance,
Aye.
Councilman Burnett,
Aye.
Councilman Bullock,
Aye.
Councilwoman Porter,
Aye.
Councilman Costello,
Aye.
Councilman Stokes,
Yes.
Councilman Glover,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ramos.
Yes.
The ayes have it. The bill moves to third reader. Third reader requiring invocation of City Council Rule 12-1 for the same day advancement from second to third reader.
City Council Bill 21-007, COVID-19 Restaurant, Consumer, and Gig Worker Relief Act, temporary limit on third-party delivery service fees. President Mosby,
Aye.
Councilman Cohen,
Aye.
Councilwoman McCray. Yes. Councilman Dorsey,
Yes.
Councilman Conway,
Aye.
Councilman Schleifer,
Yes.
Vice President Middleton,
Yes.
Councilman Torrance,
Aye.
Councilman Burnett,
Yes.
Councilman Bullock,
Aye.
Councilwoman Porter,
Aye.
Councilman Costello,
Aye.
Councilman Stokes,
Yes.
Councilman Glover,
Aye.
Councilwoman Ramos.
Aye.
Congratulations to the City Council, particularly you, Chairman Costello. This bill has been approved. It's our first bill of the 73rd Council, the Baltimore City Council. Moving on to committee announcements. Chairs, when you hear your committee, please proceed with your committee announcement. First, we're going to start with Economic and Community Development.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have, just so you know, I have 11 bills to announce, and they all are basically going to suspend the rules. So we'll start with City Council Bill 210001R will be heard on February 9th, 2021 at 2:20 p.m. virtually. I like to move for suspension of the rules to basically announce this hearing, this public hearing. I should have said that first, but I'd like to suspend the rules.
The rules are suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill, again, is Bill 21-0001R, and it's the investigative hearing on the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And again, that will be on February 9th, 2021. The next bill I'd like to announce a hearing to move suspension of the rules, again for 10-2, to announce a public hearing for Bill 21-0005.
You know, no objections, the rules are suspended.
This bill will be heard on March 2nd, 2021 at 2 p.m. virtually, and it's the zoning conditional use conversion of a single-family dwelling unit to 2 dwelling units in the R7 zoning district, and that's a variance for 810 Argonne Drive. And I'm pulling it up, so each one, so it's just taking a few minutes. I'd like to move to suspend the rules, 10-2, to announce a hearing for bill number 21-0008.
Hearing no objection, the rules are suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. And this bill again is bill number 21-0008, will be heard on February 9th, 2021, 2 p.m. Virtually, and it's city property naming the playground in Northwest Park, located at 2027 West Rogers Avenue, to be the Ricky Spector Playground. I would like to suspend the rules, 10-2, to announce a public hearing for bill number 21-0011.
Hearing no objections, rules are suspended.
This bill will be heard on March 2nd, 2021 at 2:15 p.m. virtually, and it's rezoning 2426 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'd like to suspend the rules, 10-2, 10, and 10-3, to announce a hearing for bill number 21-0015.
Hearing no objections, the rules are suspended.
This bill will be heard on March 2nd, 2021, 2:05 p.m. virtually, and it's zoning conditional use parking lots 115 and 118 Mount Clair Street. I'd like to move to suspend the rules, 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing for bill number 21-0015. Oops, that's the same one. Sorry about that. Come on, come on. I'd like to move suspension of the rules to announce a hearing, Rules 10-2, to announce a hearing, bill number 21-0022.
Hearing no objections, the rules are suspended.
Thank you. This bill will be heard on February 9th at 2:15 p.m. virtually, and it's the security deposit alternatives. We're getting close. I'd like to move suspension of Rules 10-2 to announce a hearing on bill number 21-0004.
Hearing and seeing no objections, the rules are suspended.
This bill will be heard on February 23rd, 2021 at 2:05 virtually, and it's the Office to End Homelessness, Establishment, Administration, and Permanent Housing Voucher Program. The next bill, I'd like to suspend the rules, 10-2, to announce a hearing for bill number 21-0006.
Hearing and seeing no objections, the rules are suspended.
This bill will be heard on March 2nd at 2:05, March 2nd, 2021 at 2:05, and it's the rezoning for 407 Benninghaus Road. The next one, I'd like to suspend rules 10-2 to announce a hearing for bill number 20-0010.
Hearing and seeing no objections, the rules are suspended.
This bill will be heard on March 2nd, 2021 at 2 p.m. and it's the rezoning for 2087 Druid Park Drive. Move to suspend the rules for Rules 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a public hearing for bill number 21-0013.
Hearing and seeing no objections, the rule is suspended.
This bill will be heard on March 2nd, 2021 at 2:20 p.m. virtually, and it's the rezoning for 4015 Foster Avenue, 4000 Hudson Street, and 801 South Haven Street. The next bill, I move to suspend Rules 10-2 to announce a hearing for bill number 21-0021.
Hearing and seeing no objections, the rules are suspended.
This bill will be heard on February 9th at 2:10 p.m. and it's the late fees for past due rent. And just for a correction, bill number 21-0015 or 0015, the time should be 2:25. And I think that covers all 11 bills.
Uh-oh. You sure?
Look, I'm counting them up to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes.
Are we good? Okay, thank you, Madam Vice President.
Thanks for your patience.
No, thank you. Next up for committee work, we're going to turn to Education, Workforce, and Youth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to suspend Rule 10-3 to announce a hearing for Resolution 21-0012R.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. Hearing and seeing none, the rules are suspended.
The Education, Workforce, and Youth Committee will hold a hearing on Thursday, February 4th, 2021, beginning at 5 p.m. on Resolution Bill 21-0012R, and it will be televised on Charm City. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you. Moving on, we're going to go to Chairwoman McCray, Health, Environment, and Technology.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just a reminder that the Health, Environment, and Technology Committee will hold an informational hearing for Baltimore's COVID-19 vaccination plan on Wednesday, January the 27th at 5 p.m. It will be broadcast live on Charm TV, Channel 25. Thank you.
I'm sure you all, like myself, have received a lot of questions, concerns regarding the vaccination plan. I think this is will be a very informative hearing that Chairwoman McCray is going to kind of preside over. I think we should try to push all of our constituents to listen in to the Health Department. That way we can get ahead of any misinformation out there, but then also provide the latest and greatest up-to-date information from the Health Department. Thank you, Madam Chair. Next up, we're going to go to Chairman Conway for Public Safety and Government Operations.
Thank you, Mr. President. Permission to suspend Rule 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Hearing and not seeing any objections, the rules are suspended.
The Public Safety and Government Operations Committee will be meeting on Wednesday, February 10th, 2021 at 1 p.m. virtually to hear Bill 21-0003, Baltimore City Workgroup on Nuisance Parking in Auto Businesses. Permission to suspend Rule 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Hearing and seeing no objections, the rules are suspended.
The Public Safety and Government Operations Committee will be meeting on Wednesday, January 27th, 2021 at 1:05 p.m. Virtually to hear Bill 21-0014, Baltimore City Fire Department reporting requirements. To suspend Rule 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Hearing and seeing no objections, the rules are suspended.
Public Safety and Government Operations will be meeting on Wednesday, January 27th, 2021 at 1 p.m. virtually to hear Bill 21-0017, study and report on city employee parking benefits. And finally, permission to suspend Rule 10-2 and 10-3 to announce a hearing.
Hearing and seeing no objections, the rules are suspended.
Public Safety and Government Operations will be meeting on Wednesday, January 27th, 2021 at 1:03 p.m. to hear, virtually to hear Bill 21-0018, a study and report on the towing dispatch system. Thank you, Mr. President.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. Next up, we're going to turn to our Rules and Legislative Oversight Committee. Chairman Schleifer.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Rules and Oversight Committee will meet on February 4th, 2021, beginning at 3 p.m. on WebEx to hear 28 nominations for the Trauma-Informed Care Task Force. And I will proceed to list off all 28 of them. First one is Bill number EA 21-0001. At 3 p.m., Teresa Bruce. EA 21-0002 at 3:01, David Funkel. EA 21-0003 at 3:02, Philip Leaf. EA 21-0004 at 3:03, Jabari Lyles. EA 21-0005 at 3:04, Daniel Parsons. EA 21-0006 at 3:05, Regina Boyce. EA 21-0007 at 3:06, Erica Bridgeford. EA 21-0008 at 3:07, Donna Bruce. EA 21-0009 at 3:08, Stephen Zinn. EA 21-0010 at 3:09, Kevin Daniels. EA 21-0011 at 310, Elijah Davis Jr. EA 21-0012 at 311, Desiree Dixon. EA 21-0013 at 312, Tara Dote. EA 21-0014 at 313, Pangus Gilitosis. I tried to get that name right when Brittany was announcing them before, but I did not remember it correctly, so I apologize. EA 21-0015 at 314, Lindsay Gavin. EA 21-0016 at 315, Monica Guerrero Vasquez. EA 21-0017 at 316, Lydell Hill. EA 21-0018 at 317, Mark Jews. EA 21-0019 at 318, Brenda McFadden. EA 21-0020 at 319, Tamara Mendelson. EA 21-0021 at 320, Young Elder. EA 21-0022 at 321, Shauna Murray Brownie. EA 21-0023 at 322, Nakia Namudi. EA 21-0024 at 323, Destiny Philpott. EA 21-0025 at 324, Colby Sangri. EA 21-0027 at 325, Anaya Taylor. EA 21-0028 at 326, Faria Wahid. EA 21-0029 at 327, Corey Witherspoon. I'm glad you guys are still here with me. That completes the announcements, and thank you, Mr. President.
No, thank you, Chairman Schleifer. We're going to now turn to Chairman Costello with the Ways and Means Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Ways and Means Committee will hold a legislative oversight hearing on Tuesday, February 9th at 10 a.m. This will be virtual over WebEx. LO 21-0003. This is legislative oversight hearing, quarterly budget briefings with the Bureau of Budget and Management Research. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you, Chairman Costello. Now we're going to move on to regular announcements. Members, please wait to be recognized to make your regular announcement. Are there any regular announcements out there? Okay, first up, I have Vice President Sharon Green Middleton.
I just want to announce and give congratulations to the very first white coat pinning ceremony, which is basically taking place as we speak. About 3 or more years ago, I worked hard with he was then Council President Jack Young. We had several meetings with the school system, Dr. Santelises, the principal of Pimlico Elementary Middle, the leaders of Sinai Lifebridge Hospital, and finally had put together a one-of-its-kind health program for 6th graders at Pimlico Elementary Middle. And lo and behold, 3 years have gone by that quickly, and the first class of that one-of-a-kind health program the ceremony is happening now. So I'd just like to thank the teachers, the parents, and Sinai Lifebridge for really having faith and supporting the students in this program and the students of
that school and all of the other work that you continue to do within that Park Heights community. This penning is really just a symbol of hope for you know, students that struggle every day, and the health, as we know, the health profession is in need of young people going in that direction, and starting in the 6th grade is a nice way to go. So that program is basically citywide, but it is held at Pimlico. So congratulations to those students that are setting that mark to move on, and hopefully that program will continue in Forest Park High School. We're still working to get that there, and Sinai Lifebridge basically is creating their own employees to, you know, start at any level and eventually being a doctor, a scientist, or whatever field in that health profession. So just wanted to get that message out there. Thank you.
The gentleman from the 8th District, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to extend an invitation to my colleagues and all of their constituents. I'll be hosting an online conversation with a patient advocate and a COVID survivor on Thursday, January 28th at 6:30 on my Facebook account. We're going to be talking about the long-term impacts of COVID, and an individual sharing their own experience, and it was just something that I thought was particularly timely and one timely conversation to have, especially where there are concerns about the vaccine. Businesses are reopening, and just wanting to make sure that people are staying vigilant during this time as we continue to navigate the pandemic. Thank you, Mr. President.
No, thank you, Councilman. Next up, I believe I saw the gentleman from the 3rd District, Councilman Dorsey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had it brought to my attention this week that the Finance Department is rolling out a tax credit that we passed last term that I was the lead sponsor on. Very proud of this. And it affects Baltimore City employees in particular. We passed a bill that was first introduced in the House and Senate by now President Bill Ferguson, and at that time Delegate Bilal Ali, both at my request to enable this legislation. And it didn't pass in the first year, but it was picked up the second year by Delegate Madam Chairwoman Stephanie Smith, and we got it done in the council last year. It affects roughly, a quarter of the city's 13,000 full-time employees, who are now the lowest paid among whom are now eligible for a property tax credit on property on a home that they own in Baltimore City. And so just if you're in the course of speaking to the people, the boots on the ground who make this city go every day, the folks who are out there in the cold right now, making sure that water mains are being broken and leaks are getting fixed, broken mains are getting fixed, leaks are getting fixed. Yeah, not the other way. That these folks are the lowest paid 25% of city employees are now eligible for a property tax credit that they can apply for. And if you have any questions about how this program works, to you, my colleagues, I'm glad to have any discussion, bring you up to speed on it. But I'm really glad to see the Finance Department is rolling this out at this point. Thank you, Mr. President.
No, thank you, Councilman. Thank you for your leadership on this particular bill. Actively supporting it, of course, on the state side. But you couldn't pick a better time as it relates to trying to reward I would say the hardest working city employees, the folks that really help ensure that the trains are coming in on time and planes are landing at the right time as well. They do everything from taking care of our communities, taking care of our children, just ensuring that Baltimore remains a great city. So again, thank you for acknowledging them, and thank you for this bill. Did I see one additional hand?
Yes.
Please, to the gentlewoman from District 10, former birthday young lady, Felicia Porter, Councilwoman Felicia Porter.
So on that note, I'd just like to recognize Councilwoman Ramos for today. It's her birthday, so we are January.
Did you steal my thunder?
I'm so fast. Anywho,
I have balloons and all types of stuff back here that I was going to come out, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councilwoman.
No worries. But I just want to share on a more somber note. District 10 lost a incredible community activist and giant in the Lakeland community yesterday, Miss Mary Leeper. She was one of the staples at Towson University who basically groomed James Torrance, Councilman James Torrance, and myself. Student Government Association at Towson University. And so I just want to offer my sincere condolences to her family and just to know that on behalf of my colleagues and myself, we're thinking of your family tonight as you celebrate the life of Mary Leeper. So thank you, Mr. President.
Are there any other general announcements? Just for the record, we want to make sure that we reflect the record right. City Council Bill 21-0007, that was the COVID-19 Restaurant, Consumer, and Gig Worker Relief Act. We passed that unanimously through second and third reader. I think maybe there was an audible issue with the sound. It cut off one of the zeros on the bill number, but I just wanted to make sure that the record accurately reflected that. So again, that's City Council Bill 21-0007, which happens to be the first bill that passed this Baltimore City Council term. So thank you for all of your hard work. Before we go to Vice President Sharon Green Middleton, I would like to lift up two amazing Baltimoreans. One I consider a friend in Dante Tater Barksdale, who tragically lost his life in his community. Dante committed his life to fighting against the senseless violence that happens in our communities on a daily basis. He had a tremendous heart and passion for the citizens of Baltimore. I would say hundreds, if not thousands, of young folks in our city looked up to him as a leader. We aspired to walk the walk and talk the talk the way that he did on a regular basis. If you ever had a chance to meet what he was affectionately known as Tater, you would ultimately think that he was your friend, because that's how bubbly he was. He gave his all to anything that he was involved in. He would probably be one of the funniest people in the room, whichever room you met him in, be it a boardroom or on a street corner talking to young folks. It's hard to fill the void of a loss of someone like Dante in our city, but I think symbolically he reminds us to the loss of life that has become normalized in our city and has been far too great. And it was literally the work that I think he was destined to do and the work that he did. The ability to travel all across this country to help folks set up violence reduction initiatives. And again, it's just a huge loss to our city. We mourn with his family, his friends, his co-workers in Safe Streets, and the hundreds, if not thousands of lives that he personally touched in the city. Last but certainly not least, I would also like to recognize Miss, one second. I would like to also recognize Miss Betty Jean Murphy. She was an African-American female developer in the city of Baltimore. She was affectionately known as the first African-American female developer in this great city. She's done amazing work of literally reducing blight and turning forgotten properties back into beautiful properties, caring about her community. Ms. Murphy also owned property in downtown Baltimore, which, again, I don't have any historical reference to provide you on this, but it's thought that she was the first, potentially only African-American female owner of a building in downtown Baltimore. She was a giant. Her legacy will be survived, and we want to add that to the moment of silence, Madam Vice President Middleton. At this time, I'll turn it over to you, Madam Vice President Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I move on, I just like to share with Councilwoman Porter and Councilman Torrance that the Leeper family and the Middleton family are very are blood relatives.
Oh, wow.
From the Middleton family is from the Fairfield, Cherry Hill community, along with the Leepers. Lots of family connection there, which is all, you know, as they say, Smaltimore.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So the next meeting of the City Council will be held on Monday, February 8th, 2021 at 5 p.m. virtually. And may we have a moment of silence for the Mary Leeper family, Betty Jean Murphy family, and Dante Barksdale and his family, and also the Safe Streets family, and the now 17 victims of homicide for 2021 and 713 deaths since COVID began, and also the continued prayers for the people that suffer through the our opioid epidemic. Thank you, Mr. President.
At this point, we're going to have a moment of silence. Thank you. There being no further business, this concludes the third meeting of the 73rd term of the Baltimore City Council.